So you're thinking of moving to Connecticut, and maybe you already watched my top 10 towns that are blowing up in 2026. But here's the thing, that's only half the story. A completely different set of towns was quietly putting up some real big numbers for the entire state. So today, we're doing it again. The top 10 Connecticut towns everybody's moving to in 2026, part 2. 10 more towns, 10 more reasons, and one massive reveal at the end that I guarantee you didn't expect. I'm Dave Jones, broker and owner of Dave Jones Realty. My team sells real estate in every single one of these towns, every single week. So let's get right into it. Number 10 is Plymouth. Plymouth sits up in Litchfield County, and it is the most affordable town on the entire list. In 2025, the median sales price was $344,000, up about 15% from the year before. That's real, fast growth, but it's at a price point that almost anybody can work with. Plymouth used to be known as the clock town because it's where Eli Terry built clocks 2 centuries ago that ended up in homes all around the country. That history is still woven into the identity of this place. Today, it's a quiet working town with lake access, rolling hills, a real small downtown feel that a lot of people are searching for and not finding closer to the coast. It's become the entry point for buyers who got priced out of the towns around it, but still want that Litchfield County feel without the Litchfield County price tag. Homes here aren't sitting too long either. The market's moving, and at this price point, the kind of speed gets people's attention fast. If you're a first-time buyer trying to get a foothold in this part of the state, or you're coming from somewhere with a much smaller budget, Plymouth deserves a real look before you write it off. Some people will think it's too small. Some say it's too quiet. Quiet isn't always a downside. Sometimes it's exactly what people are searching for, and maybe they just didn't realize it until they found it. Number 9 is Southington. Southington is a Hartford County town that has been quietly putting up serious numbers. Median home prices in 2025 hit $421,000, up 9.4% from the year before. Closed sales jumped 19%. That's not a town cooling off. That's a town heating up, and it's happening without much noise. Southington gives you small town charm with real infrastructure behind it. Great downtown, has amazing restaurants and shops people actually drive in to go to. There's an apple festival the town has on the green every year. There's a genuine sense of community here, and you feel it the moment you walk down Main Street. You've also got access to I-84, which means Hartford, Waterbury, and parts of Fairfield County are all reachable without the brutal daily commute eating away your life. It's the kind of town that doesn't show up enough on lists, and the data is starting to fix that. Buyers are figuring out what locals have known for years, and the numbers are just catching up to the reputation. I've shown buyers around this town who come in expecting a sleepy little pass-through town and left talking about moving here within the year. Number 8 is Manchester, and Manchester is one of the most underrated towns on this list. And the numbers can back that up. The median price came in at $321,000 in 2025. Closed sales were up 6%. That is steady, healthy growth without a flash in the pan that's going to disappear next year. Here's something interesting. A good chunk of out-of-state buyers moving into Hartford area right now are coming from Massachusetts, and Manchester is exactly the kind of town they're landing in. It makes sense once you see it in person. Manchester gives you that classic New England downtown with tree-lined streets, historic homes mixed in with some new construction, not enough, and a strong sense of community. Their prices still make sense if you're trying to get into Connecticut without stretching every single dollar to make it work. This is a town for people who want to build roots, not just a roof over their head. And it has that distinction more than people think when they're choosing where they actually want to settle down for the long haul. You can buy a house anywhere. Manchester's the kind of place you'll actually plant yourself. You get to know your neighbors and you stop thinking of it as a transitional stop along the way to somewhere else. Number 7 is Naugatuck. Naugie. Naugatuck is in New Haven County, and it is a town that I know personally. It has awesome leadership. Shout out to Mayor Hess, a lifetime Mets fan. I get your struggle. The market here is moving. Median price hit $340,000 in 2025, up almost 9%. New listings were up too, which means there's actually inventory for buyers to look at, not just a frozen market with nothing on the shelf. Naugatuck sits in the Naugatuck Valley, close to Waterbury, but with its own identity entirely. You've got the Borough Green, the historic downtown, and beautiful old architecture along Church Street at a price point that gives buyers real breathing room. Compared to towns that are just minutes away, if you've seen my Waterbury content, Naugatuck is the town right next door that a lot of people overlook. And they shouldn't, because the value here is hiding in plain sight. And it has been for a while. Number 6 is North Haven. North Haven is a New Haven County town that delivers year after year without a lot of fanfare. The median price in 2025 was $450,000, and it's been climbing steadily without the wild swings you see in other markets that spike one year and then crash the next. Inventory is still tight right now, sitting at just over 1 month's supply, which tells you buyers are moving fast the moment something good hits the market. North Haven gives you the highway access on 91 and Route 15, a strong town center, good schools, some big box stores, and a price point that sits right in the range that most relocators are actually looking for when they start their search. It's not flashy, it doesn't have a beach, it doesn't even have a lake, but it's exactly the kind of steady, dependable town that quietly outperforms the flashier markets year after year. And if you're watching this and thinking about your own move, please drop a comment and tell me what part of Connecticut you're looking at. I read every single one, and it tells me what I should be covering next. Before we get to number 4, I wanted to put this out there. If any of these towns fancy an interest for you, don't just sit there. Reach out. We can book a free Zoom relocation planning call. We'll sit and talk with you, talk about your budget, your must-haves, your timeline. We will figure out which of these towns actually fits your lifestyle. You can find the link to do that below in the description, or just call or text us direct. My cell phone is on the screen, my actual cell phone. That's what this whole channel exists to do. We love to help. Number 5, Newtown. Newtown is where Fairfield County starts to actually make sense on a real budget. The median price in 2025 is up. It's up to about $642,000. It's up 7.4%. Closed sales were up 14%. That is serious momentum for a town this size, and it tells you buyers are actively choosing Newtown over its more expensive neighbors on purpose. Newtown gives you the Fairfield County name, the strong schools, the New England charm, the flagpole downtown, open space, walking trails, and it's at a price point nowhere near what you would pay in Darien or New Canaan or in a similar lifestyle. It's become the town people land in when they want Fairfield County feel without the Fairfield County price. And the sales and numbers are proving that out in real time, month after month, not just as a 1-month fluke. It's legit. It's sustainable. Newtown's not going anywhere. Number 4 is Shelton. Shelton is the one I talk about a lot. It's because the math here is almost unfair to every other town in Fairfield County. Median home prices in 2025 were $545,000. But that's not the number that matters. Shelton's mill rate is 18.82. It's one of the lowest property tax rates anywhere in this part of the state. That's it. Compare it to towns nearby sitting in the high 30s or low 40s. You're talking about thousands of dollars a year staying in your pocket instead of going straight to property tax. Shelton gives you that Fairfield County address, river views along the Housatonic, and a real walkable downtown with the restaurants and the shops that people actually love. And as a bonus, you get a tax bill that makes your accountant genuinely happy at the end of the year. This is exactly the kind of town that proves you don't have to overpay to get Fairfield County living. You just have to know where to look, and most people simply don't. Number 3 is Oxford. Oxford is New Haven County, and I know firsthand, right now it is one of the most interesting markets in the entire state. Median prices hit $589,000, up 7% from the year before. But here's the wild part. The number of homes for sale jumped close to 140% in a single year. That means more inventory, more choices, and less of that brutal bidding war that pressures you in the tight markets. Every listing turns into a fight. It's starting to even out because of the increased inventory in Oxford. Oxford gives you space, real land, a quiet, semi-rural feel, even though you're still close to everything. And you get a mill rate right around 20. It's 20.01. In a market that actually is giving buyers room to breathe for once, instead of forcing them into a frenzy the second the listing goes live. Number 2 is Morris. Morris is a lake town, and it's having a real moment right now. Median prices jumped to $680,000 in 2025. It's up 10%. But the real story here is Bantam Lake. Bantam Lake is here, and it's one of the most sought after rec spots in all of Litchfield County. I spend a lot of time there. I have a home there. All weekend long, all I saw were people walking, hiking, biking, kayaking, and canoeing. It's the spot everybody goes to get outside. When you walk into the local coffee shop, they know your order. You can see the fresh baked pastries in the cabinet, the fresh baked sandwiches. It is a breath of fresh air, this kind of town. It's like being on a permanent vacation instead of a once-a-year trip. Morris gives you that lake house lifestyle without leaving Connecticut, without flying somewhere every summer, without dealing with a rental and a packing list every single year. And inventory here is actually opened up too. It gives buyers more to choose from than they ever had years past. And if you want water access and woods, there's a lot of woods, and a real sense of escape, but still being minutes from everything else you need, this is a town that's doing it right. So now that brings us to number 1. And I told you at the start, this number 1 would surprise you, and I think it's going to. Number 1 is Thomaston. Thomaston had the single biggest price jump on the entire list. The median sales price went from $278,000 to $338,500, and that's just in 1 year. Nothing else on this list moved that fast, not even close. And here's something I don't usually say on camera. This isn't something I research from a spreadsheet. It's something I know from working here and selling homes here. It's a small Litchfield County town with a real downtown. The Seth Thomas Clock Factory has history that the whole town is named for. It has beautiful old mill architecture along the river and a price point that is still one of the most affordable entry points anywhere near every other town we just covered today. People are catching on. The numbers prove it. And honestly, I'm glad more and more people are starting to find out what I've known for years. Thomaston's a great value. So there it is, 10 more towns. The one town that grew faster than every single one of them, including every town we covered in part 1. I didn't get into crime or safety numbers for any of those towns, and that's on purpose. That kind of data changes by source every single year, and it depends on who's reporting it and how they're measuring it. So go look at local police department reports, do some research yourself, do your own due diligence. If there's one thing I want you to take away from that list, it's the best town for your move are rarely the ones with the biggest name recognition. They're the ones where the numbers work best, the lifestyle works best, and you have an actual budget, and they all line up together. That's true whether you're looking for a starter home in the $340,000 range in Naugatuck Valley or a lake house in the $700,000 range in Morris. The right fit matters more than the right reputation. And if you want to see exactly which Connecticut towns are heating up the fastest, that's why I made a full breakdown right before this one. Click it here and I will meet you over there.